example of a direct online starter where it is used to start a single phase load. The load we are going to be considering this evening is this light indicator. Our control cycle this evening is going to be centered on how to start a single phase load, which is our indicator light. So now let's start with the power section. Like I told you earlier, we have the power circuit and we have the control circuit. For this single phase load, like we all know, single phase simply refers to the load that has two terminals to accept the positive or the live supply and the neutral supply. So it has to accept the live and the neutral. The live and the neutral is fed into the load in order to make it active. Now we have our light indicator with two terminals where the live and the neutral is connected, as you can see. The live and the neutral, which you are going to connect at the output of the contactor. Connect the output. We take any of the two contacts of the contactors, our live and our neutral. Our live and neutral connected to the output of the contactor. Then we need to have a supply from our breaker. Like we know, we have the supply from the source here and the input. Then we have the supply coming also from the output. I'm going to join this because of the control cycle we're going to also consider. So this connector will be going for the control cycle, while this is for our power circuit. So we're going to connect this at the output of the breaker. For my explanation, when we are analyzing the circuit, we say the breaker is a protective device that have the ability to trip off when the rated current is exceeded. So for our power section, connect the live to correspond to the live of the load. And this should be our neutral conductor connected to correspond also to the neutral, corresponding to the neutral of the load too. Now our neutral, we want to get our neutral from A2, because A2 is where the neutral from the supply will be connected. Now we have these two cables are coming from the power supply. This is going to be our neutral conductor. Like we said, it's going to be connected to A2. Connected to A2 now. This is the neutral that we are also supposed to also feed at the input of the contactor. So we're going to tap it from this neutral, which is all know we connected to A2 of the coil of the contactor. While the positive side of the supply will be connected to the input of the breaker here. Connect the live to the input of the breaker. So now we are through the power circuit. We have our live and neutral and the input. First, the live comes through the breaker into the input of the contactor, then at the output of the contactor to the load. Now, like I explained in the circuit analysis, we normally have an overload, but for this section we don't have an overload here. That is why it's connected straight to the output of the contactor. But when we are using the overload, the overload will be connected at the output first before the power will be connected. The load will be connected. Now for our control circuit, like we explained initially, we say from our diagram here, we say the supply comes from the breaker. From the output of the breaker, it goes to the stop push button, which is normally closed. So here we have the conductor from the output of the breaker to the stop push button. So connect this to the stop push button. Also connect at the end and this other end of this stop push button. After connecting to the stop push button from our diagram, the next we are going to connect to the start push button. But at the start push button we have a branch here. One of the branch will go to the normally open of the auxiliary contact. This is the auxiliary contact. One of the branch here is already connected to the normally open, which we said will be a branch that this branch now from the stop push button, which is this, and this from the auxiliary contact. This is the branch we have here, which is connected to one of the terminals of the start push button, which is normally open. We have a branch at the input side. We also have a branch at the output side of the start push button. So the output at the output section is this normally open contact, the output of a normally open contact, and the contactor will be connected to the output of the start push button. We have a branch here, which is this, which will be connected to this other terminal. Now from this, we have a branch that will be connected to the normally close of the overload, but here we don't have the overload, so we're going to have a straight connection to the coil of the breaker, of the contactor connected to A1, which is one of the terminals, the positive terminal of the contactor, the coil of the contactor. So now we are done with the control circuit. So we're going to test our connection. Let me send power into the breaker. But before we switch on, let's check our connection from the breaker to the stop push button, from the stop push button to the start push button, where we have a branch at the normally open of the auxiliary contact. From there we have a branch also at the output section between the start push button and the auxiliary contact. Then from there we have our contactor going into coil. Here we have our neutral connected to A2. So now let's check if we have supply at the breaker. 7 meter on voltage, that is AC voltage, neutral line. As you can see, here's a supply, 239 volts, which when we switch on this breaker, I'm expected to have a flow from here to the stop push button. Now to start this circuit, we want to push the start push button. As you can see, the load is on, and you see after pressing the push button, I release it. So what sustains it is this open contact that is on the auxiliary contact. When the contactor is energized, this normally open contact closes to allow for current to flow. It creates a pathway for current to flow to light up the indicator lights. So if we want to stop the circuit, we'll press the stop push button, as you can see. Put it on, press the start push button. To switch it off, press the stop push button. So that is the practical connection of